This is the seventh day. This is the seventh day of me reading a book every day to improve how I speak. So let's set a timer. Go ahead and read. With them, for millions of people, that whole fear keeps them awake all night, causing a night of turmoil and worry. So they get up and go to work, hoping that a paycheck will kill that fear drowning at their soul. Money is running their lives, and they refuse to tell the truth about that. Money is in control of their emotions and their souls. Rich Dad said quietly, letting his words sink in. Mike and I heard that. He said, but didn't understand fully what he was talking about. I just knew what. But we. I asked, I asked, I asked. So is a poor man happier? Katani. So many people say, oh, I'm not interested in money. Yet they work at a job for 8 hours a day. So what do we do? I asked. Not work for money until all traces of fear and greed are gone? No, that will be a waste of time, said Rich Dad. Emotions are what makes us human. The word emotion stands for energy in motion. Be truthful about your emotions and use your mind, and emotion is in your favor against yourself. Wow, said Mike. Don't worry about what I just said. It will make more sense in years to come. Just be an observer, not a reactor to your emotions. Most people do not know that is their emotion they are doing the thinking, that are doing the thinking. Your emotion are your emotions, but you have to go learn to do your own thinking. Can you give me an example? I asked. Sure, replied the rich dad. When a person says, I need to find a job, it's most likely an emotion doing the thinking. Fear of not having money generates that thought. But people do need but people do need money if they have bills to pay. I said, sure they do, smiled rich dad. All I'm saying is that is fear that is all too often doing the thinking. I don't understand, said Mike. For example, said rich dad, if the fear of not having enough money arises instead of immediately running out to get a job, they instead might ask themselves this question. Will a job be the best solution to this fear over the long run? In my opinion, the answer is no. A job is really a short-term solution to a long-term problem. But my dad is always saying, stay in school and get good grades so you can find a safe, secure job. I interjected, somewhat confused. Yes, I understand, he says that, said Rich Dad, smiling. Most people recommend that, and it's a good path for most people. But people make that recommendation primarily out of fear. You mean my dad says that because he's afraid? Yes, said Rich Dad. He's terrified that you won't earn enough money and won't fit into society. Don't get me wrong. He loves you and wants the best for you. I too believe that education and jobs are important, but it won't out of the fear. You see, the same fear that makes him get up in the morning to earn a few bucks is the fear that is choosing him to be the fanatical about your going to school. So, what do you recommend? I asked. I want to teach you to master the power of money instead of being afraid of it. They don't teach that in school. And if you don't learn it, you become a slave of money. It was finally making sense. He wanted us to widen our views and to see what Miss Martin of this world couldn't see. He uses examples that sounded cruel at the time, but I've never forgotten them. My vision widened that day, and I began to see the trap that lay ahead for most people. You see, we are all employees ultimately. We just work at different levels, said Rich Dad. I just want you boys to have a chance to avoid a trap caused by those two emotions, fear and desire. Use them in your favor, not against you. That's what I want to teach you. I'm not interested in just teaching you to make a pile of money. That won't handle the fear and desire. If you don't first handle fear and desire, you get rich, you will only be a highly paid slave. So how do we avoid that trap? I asked. The main cause of poverty or financial struggle is fear of ignorance. Is fear and ignorance, not the economy, or the government, or the rich. It is itself inflicted fear and ignorance that keep people trapped. So you boys go to school and get your college degree, and I will teach you how to stay out of the trap. The pieces of the puzzle were appearing. My highly educated dad had a great education and a great career, but school never told him how to handle money or his fear of it. It became clear that I could learn different and important things from two fathers. So you have been talking about the fear of not having money. How does the desire for money affect our thinking? Mike asked. How did you feel when I tempted you with a pay raise? Do you notice your desires rising? We nodded our heads, but not giving into your emotions. You were about to delay your reaction and think that is important. You will always have emotions of fear and greed. From here on it's imperative for you to use those emotions to your advantage. And for the long term, do not let your emotions control your thinking. Most people use fear and greed against themselves. That's the start of ignorance. Most people live their lives chasing paychecks, pay raises, and job security because of the emotions and desire and fear. Not really questioning where those emotions driven thoughts are leading them. Just like the picture of a donkey dragging a cart with its owner dangling a carrot just in front of its nose. The donkey's owner may be going where he wants to, but the donkey is chasing an illusion. Tomorrow, there will be only another carrot for the donkey. You mean the moment I picture a new baseball glove, candy, and toys, that's like a carrot to a donkey? He asked. Yes. And as you get older, your toys get more expensive. A new car, a new boat, a big house to impress your friends, said Rich Dad with a smile. Fear pushes you out the door, and desire calls to you. That's the trap. So, what's the answer? Mike asked. What intensifies fear and desire is ignorance. That is why rich people with a lot of money often have more fear the richer they get. Money is the carrot, the illusion. If the donkey could see the whole picture, it might rethink its choice to chase the carrot. Timer. Oh, I wasn't recording, man. So, what does ignorance have to do with greed and fear? I asked. Because it is ignorance about money that causes so much greed and fear. Said Rich Dad. Let me give you some examples. A doctor wanting more money to better provide for his family raises his fees. By raising his fees, it makes healthcare more expensive for everyone. It hurts the poor people the most, so they have worse health than those with money. Because the doctors raise their fees, the Anthony's raise their fees. Because the Anthony's fees have gone up, school teachers want a raise, which raises our taxes, and on and on and on. Soon there will be such a horrified gap between the rich and the poor that chaos will break out and another great civilization will collapse. History proves that the great civilization collapsed when the gap between the haves and have-not is too great. Sadly, America is one of the same course because we haven't learned from history. We only memorize historical dates and names, not the lesson. Aren't prices supposed to grow up? I asked. In an educated society with a well-run government, prices should actually come down. Of course, that is often only true in theory. Prices go up because of greed and fear caused by ignorance. If schools taught people about money, there will be more money and lower price. But school focus only on teaching people to work for money, but how to harness money's power. But don't we have a business school? Mike asked. And haven't you encouraged me to go for an MBA? Yes, said Rich Dad. But all too often, business schools train employees to become sophisticated bean counters. Heaven forbid a bean counter takes over a business. All they do is look at the numbers, fire people, and kill the business. I know this because I hire bean counters. All they think is about cutting costs and raising prices, which cause more problems. Bean counting is important. I wish more people knew it, but it's too not the whole picture. Added Rich Dad angrily. So, is there an answer? Asked Mike. Yes, said Rich Dad. Learn to use your emotion to think, not think with your emotion. When you boys mastered your emotion by agreeing to work for me, I knew there was hope. When you again recited your emotions when I tempted you with more money, you are again learning to think in spite of being emotional charged at the first step. Why is why is that step so important? I asked. Well, that's up to you to find out. If you want to learn, I will take you boys into the berry patch. A place almost everywhere else avoid if you go with me. I will let go of the idea of working for money and instead learn to have money work for me. And what we'll get if we go with you? What if we agree to learn from you? What will we get? I asked. The same thing Brave Rabbit got, said Richard, referring to the classic children's story. Is, is there a bear patch? I asked. Yes, said Richard. The bear patch is the fear and greed, confronting fear, weakness, and neediness by choosing our own thought is the way out. Choosing our thoughts, Mike asks puzzling. Yes, choosing what we think rather than reacting to our emotions. Instead of just getting up and going to work because not having the money to pay your bills is scary, ask yourself, is working harder at this solution to this problem? Most people are too afraid to rationalize things through and instead run out the door to a job they hate. The third baby is in control. That's what I mean by choosing your thoughts. And how do you do that, Mike asks? That's what I will teach you. I will teach you to have a choice of thought rather than a knee-jerk reaction, like gulping down your morning coffee and running out the door. Remember what I said before. A job is only a short-term solution to a long-term problem. Most people have only one problem in mind, and it's short-term. It's the bills at the end of the month, the tar baby, money, controls their lives, or should I say the fear of ignorance about money controls it. So they do as their parents did. They get up every day and go work for money, not taking time to ask the question, is there another way? The emotion now control their thinking, not their heads. Can you tell the difference between emotion thinking and the head thinking? Mike asked. Oh yes, I hear it all the time. Says rich dad. I hear things like, well, everyone has to work, or the rich are crooks, or I will get another job, I deserve this raise, you can't push me around, or I like this job because blah blah blah. It's secure, no one asks. That's the end of today's session. Peace out.